Hello everyone, and welcome to Winds of Earrenia, Bold Wolf Gaming's ongoing Dungeons & Dragons campaign. We are back from a several-month-long hiatus, and excited to be back. We are going to try to resume our every other week schedule, provided my job cooperates with that. I'm told they should be able to accommodate me, but we'll see how that holds up. So be sure to follow the Winds of Earrenia Facebook page and the rest of Bold Wolf Gaming social media to stay up to date on our schedule. The rest of Bold Wolf Gaming schedule also continues to be determined by my job, so you'll need to follow that if you want to watch any of my other streams as well. At the moment, I'm only streaming about once a week, and I will be announcing it as close to the beginning of the week as I can when that's going to happen. But that is all I've got for announcements. The Extra Life donation page will be down for a little while. I've got to get my account set up for the new year. Thank you for everyone who donated last year and participated in our Tabletop Appreciation Program and all the other stuff we did. Congratulations to Miss Redneck for being the top donor for the year. Thank you for all of your assistance and participating in all those events. Really appreciate it. But that is all I've got for announcements. We'll go ahead and get rolling into... my green screen's not doing well today. We'll go ahead and get into the game here. Alright. Oh, and Discord disappeared again. Hold on a second. There we go. Alright. So we've got our 4 players ready. Ryan, can you wave your hand just so I can make sure you're not frozen? Or is your...
Oh, it's definitely frozen. No, your Discord's frozen for sure. Because as soon as I saw my face popped up, I did the finger guns.
Okay, there we go. I minimized instead of just selecting another window. That was the problem. Alright, so... let's get right into it. When we last left off, the Regulators traveled to Rumlin and the home city of Malcolm, Lorem Sor. When they arrived, Malcolm decided to disguise himself and reconnect with his father, discovering that his social status had been reduced due to Malcolm, or rather Percival's, fugitive status. Malcolm introduced himself to Daimo Roman Davalos as Montego Montoya, a bounty hunter on Percival's trail, and made arrangements to capture and turn in Percival, rather than to the Emperor of Rumlin. The plan, of course, was to take the reward and rescue his father. The Regulators then headed into the northern swamps and eventually found themselves in the sunken ruins of the ancient palace of Earsmore. After convincing the occupying fishfolk tribe that they were gods, killing a hydra and her hatchlings, they successfully retrieved the second of the champion's weapons, Sayuna's heart. Returning to Lorem Sor, the Regulators, along with their pilot Duskchin, plotted to rescue Malcolm's father. They recruited locals into a fake heist of Davalos's... I hate doing the possessive with names that end in S. Storehouse, and made sure rumor of the heist would reach the Daimo in advance. Duskchin and Zuko then scouted out an airship to steal for the getaway, killing 2 members of the ship's crew in the process. Duskchin and Zuko executed their part of the plan, while Mira took Malcolm to the Daimo as prisoner, disguised as his former self, Percival Boone. After Davalos revealed the reward in Malcolm's father, Malcolm and Mira attacked. Zuko and Duskchin successfully stole an airship and were only slightly delayed when their theft was discovered by nearby members of the Tetsuro Legion. Meanwhile, Malcolm and Mira found themselves with unexpected backup in the form of a Sylvan woman named Echo. They defeated the guards, and Malcolm killed Davalos before the group escaped with the reward and his father onto the stolen airship. The Regulators set the ship on fire with the two dead bodies inside and set it on a course to crash nearby before returning to Serenity. Echo introduced herself and explained that her village in the Fey Realm was besieged when a dark city broke through the planar barriers and materialized nearby. After her village was destroyed, she was drawn to the energy of the champion's weapons they had activated and collected so far, and hoped that the ones who wielded these powers would someday be able to help her deal with the Dark City. Echo is welcomed into the Regulators, and Serenity set a course for Anexa to unite with Malcolm's father with his fiancée and future child. And so, as we resume here, if everybody remembers how to play Dungeons and Dragons, that is, it's been a while. Let's go ahead and change the music.
You roll dice, right?
Generally speaking. Yeah, that should work. Let me get the sound effects going. Alright, so, the evening that you all met Echo and rescued Malcolm's father, returning to Serenity and set course for one of your many home ports. You, of course, all eventually make your way to bed on your own schedules. Echo, of course, only needs 4 hours of meditation. She doesn't actually have to sleep. But the course to Anexa, bring up the world map, is about 860 miles, which is 86 hours total, 3.5 days. You'll have 3 waking days, i.e. 16 hours to work with, plus 6 hours in the final day, and 4 total sleeps. So, how does everybody want to spend the next few days?
If you wouldn't mind me going first here, I would like to work with my undead capuchin monkey, Jack, and try to work in some more commands with him. I think my notes here, I'm 5 of 6 for learning fetch.
Resources, that's what I need. Research progress. Jack. Actually, no, you completed fetch. You were working on hide.
Okay.
You're at
Okay,
2
I
of
was
6
working on
on
hide. How far was I on hide?
2 out of 6.
2 out of 6? Okay, then I'll work on that. Try and get him to learn hide.
Is that what you're spending all?
Will it take the entire time?
Actually, you know what? I need to pull up the.
So I thought it was like 4 hours or something like that to work for progress or something. I can't remember.
Let me see if I can animal him. Oh, great. I don't have access to it here, do I? It's 6 8-hour days to get to train a.
Okay, so I can do. So you said we have 3 days. You said.
You actually technically you have. If you count a day as 8 hours, you actually have 3 to work with, 3.5, because there's 16-hour days with nothing else to do. So you can actually spend, you can get 2 days done in 1 day in theory.
Then yeah, I'll do hide for the first 2 days. I'll work on that with him.
Okay. Lost some. Not used to navigating my. Yeah. 3 waking days of 16 hours each, plus 6 hours on the final day. So, yeah, if you spent 2 whole days, you would get essentially 4, and that would complete hide.
Okay.
So that's what you want to do?
Yep.
Alright, so he now understands the command hide. Alright, so I'll go ahead and break in with some of the NPCs here as well. I need to pull up the ship reference again.
What?
Where is Serenity? The Vestige, still have that. Ah, Serenity, right there. All right. So Malcolm, your dad, by the second day, is already starting to look a bit healthier. The balance from kind of broken, muscular, but spends constant days in the sun, and is focusing all of his strength on harvesting crops. He is starting to look a little more like his old noble self, so to speak, in his physique and the way he's holding himself. He seems a lot happier, a lot more like the man that you actually remember. And he is spending most of his time actually with Tristan, helping him work out the plans for installing the new cannons that you guys took from the smuggler vessel, and figure out how to get those installed into Serenity's frame, and looking at other stuff that Tristan's been working on. They share interests. They're both tinkerers, so he's spending occupying his time that way for the most part. And just starting to get used to the idea of not being a laborer anymore.
I'm going to fire Tristan for taking up my dad's time, because that's my dad, not his.
All right, Zuko.
Do we show my dad like around the ship and everything? Like, does he know that we have like a tinkerer's area where he could actually like draft and draw and do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I assume the first morning after breakfast, you would have given him a lay of the ship so he can get around on his own. So yeah, he is spending some time in that workshop.
And I tell him, "Hey, Dad, I made this. This is my design for the ship."
He seems somewhat surprised, but very proud. And in fact, he immediately recognizes the value of the design and how it's going to change the way that airships are used. So he is very proud of that fact that you've possibly changed an entire industry with one design.
Just wait till he sees the hover bike.
That's something that I'm going to be working on with you, by the way.
Well, according to my notes, we already finished the plans for it, so we just need to have it made. It was 8 out of 8 on the planning stage, so we just need to like actually make it.
Yep. So, let me go ahead and add a page. Bring it down. I am going to create a list of things that you guys, because it's been a while since we played, things that you guys are going to want to address in the near future. Hover bike construction. Oh, and getting those cannons installed. Although that could probably be done while you guys are doing something you're probably going to be doing in the near future anyway, so might not need to worry about it too much. I just need to remember what you guys took, kind of. May have to go back and watch that episode. Alright, so Mira, Echo, Zuko, anything you want to be doing in the first couple days?
Reading.
Okay. What are you reading?
I know I got some books that I purchased.
Okay. It's weird. I thought you read them on the way down, but maybe not.
I read one on the way down.
Ah, okay. The first story you read was an odd mix of smut and history, or at least legend.
I heard that snicker over there. Who was it?
And essentially told the story of a romance that took place between a woman and a soldier, part of this army that was gifted by a fake creature to this king to help save the city from the constant sieges it was encountering from surrounding enemies. And for some reason, the city was cursed at the end, and everything was turned to stone. But it was oddly, for a smut novel, it was filled with all this political information and geography and everything else, which made it very strange to read. Let's see, books. Yes, Love Like a Rock is what it was called.
Like a rock.
I completely forgot the title of it. Now I see how funny it is. You don't have to go into crazy detail on what I'm reading. I'm just reading.
Okay. You read the other book, because apparently I did not make any notes for that one. I know you picked up two, but yeah. Alright, so you spend your time spending time with Wolfric. Echo. You actually have additional time compared to everybody else, because you only need to meditate for 4 hours.
I would like to ask Mira if I could borrow that other book and just kind of spend time getting to know everybody and seeing if they need help with anything.
Good use of your time. Alright, everybody, how do you react to Echo's attempts to befriend everybody?
Well, I think I'd probably like to ask her some questions about her background. What kind of skills she might have that might be useful to the crew.
Is this going to be like a conference thing?
Yeah, it is a Malcolm thing.
Like me, I'm a gunslinger. I shoot first usually, and then ask questions later.
True.
And I am the charlatan background, if I remember correctly. Let me find that in my character sheet. Yeah, charlatan background. So, whenever I'm making deception checks or trying to disguise myself, trying to fool people, that's kind of my bag.
Hold on. Sorry, I forgot what Echo was good.
No, you're completely fine. This is only like your second session, so. And I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
Excuse me. Your the best page to answer this question would probably be features and traits.
Okay. Would it be proficiencies?
Yeah, that's kind of what he gave you, proficiencies and expertise.
Okay. Well, she's very good with persuasion, investigation, deception, stealth, survival, and perception.
Okay. Yeah, so perception, I think, and investigation is something that I'm not good at. So
I'm good at investigation.
So you say, Zuko, but we've had some issues. No, just joking.
You know what?
He's good at investigation. He is not good with mice or deer.
No, I am great with deer. Let's get that straight.
Okay, he's
If by
good
great with
with
deer you mean punching them in the back of the head, then yes, you are.
He doesn't have the concept of how to properly hunt them.
Like you have a bow. That's probably the best way to hunt a deer.
He goes for wrestling instead.
This isn't a logic thing, okay? I went for the coolness.
Yeah, acrobatics, sleight of hand are my two strongest skills.
He's also really good at ending a fight before anybody else gets a turn.
Yeah.
I'm also quite sneaky and good at sleight of hand as well.
All right,
Nice.
anybody?
Well, welcome to the crew.
All right, so Mira, do you let her borrow your horrible smut book?
I also warned her in advance.
And I thank you for your warning.
So, do you spend a decent amount of time on that book, Echo?
Yes.
Okay. So as she warned you, it's engaging, but based on what it's supposed to be, it's very odd. It reads almost like a history textbook. So that throws you off based on what you're going on in with expectations. But you find that this is interesting. You reading this find it interestingly accurate, because there are mentions of Fey deals and some Fey magic that you find very familiar. And
Yes.
Reading through this, it bears a resemblance to a story that you've heard from your side of the veil, so to speak, of a Fey queen who gave a king a magic crown to help him in his time of need, but the deal was that he had to give it up when he was done. And as far as you understand, that deal was in some manner broken, and an entire city was wiped out for it, because the king did not hold to his word. So it tickles some memories of things you've heard from your side, and for you honestly begin to wonder if the book isn't actually history disguised as a smut novel for the sake of making it harder to notice. Zuko, anything from you?
I know I'm going to work more on my fletching.
On your what? Oh, your fletching. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see where you are. Looking for research progress. All right. So
I should be. I think I'm at like 724 hours out of 1,000.
Yep, that looks right. All right. So you want to spend the first 2 days working on that?
Yes.
Excuse me. God, I can't stop burping. All right. So that is 32 hours total you'll be working on it. Go ahead and roll 4 dexterity checks.
Alright. Is that like just a right, like straight up dexterity, or like a saving throw or anything?
Just straight up dexterity. I believe
Alright.
is the way we were doing it.
12.
All right.
$13.
All right.
13.
Nice. And one more.
17.
Nice. Perfect 2 days. So that should be 64 hours added to your 724. You're at 788 out of 1,000. And we'll say you get about 20 usable arrows.
Alright.
Out of the effort. So, alright, we're 2 days down. Ryan, did you ever get all of that, those major windfalls split up?
The money?
Mm-hmm.
I thought we had while we were doing it, but if I did not, then I did know. I'll have to go back and do it.
Yeah, you like the whiskey run, and I think there was a couple other things that were given to you in a large chunk, and you just held on to split up.
Yeah, let me take a look here. Yeah, I'll go back to my
Is the water
notes.
tank full in case he needs a feeding?
Not full, no, but there should still be
No.
enough in there for a bottle.
Yeah, I'll go
I'm
back
just
to my
making
notes
sure
because I
if
do
we're gonna
see
go to 11.
bank notice from the shipyard, delivering supplies. Yeah, I have to go back through and everything and distribute everything.
Alrighty. Alright, so that brings us up to... We've got 2 days. Got 1 day plus 6 hours the final day. Anything anybody wants to do with that last full 16-hour day? Role-playing or otherwise.
Does the ship have any alchemical alchemical stuff in stock?
Yep, the basics.
Then I'll just do a little bit of that.
Alright, let me see. I should still have notes on how to do that. Potion. Alright, 1 every 4 hours. So if you're spending that last full day,
Mm-hmm.
you can make up to 4 potions, possibly. It will cost you 30... Wait, hold on. 37 gold pieces total per potion. Well, so I should say a per attempted potion. So go ahead and remove 37 for 148 gold. And then I'm going to need four dexterity. Four. Yeah, dexterity checks plus your proficiency.
100 and what gold?
148. Oh, I'm sorry. That's greater healing. Well, would you like 4 greater healings?
Yeah, sure. I already took off the 148.
All right. Sorry, I skipped over potion of healing.
No,
All
no,
right. So
you're good. You said dexterity?
yep. With proficiency added. So that would be d20 plus 3 plus 4.
Okay.
So plus 7.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second. My phone's doing something stupid. It's just not letting me see the buttons. Okay, so. $22 total?
What's that?
22 total?
For the first one? All right, so you have 1 success. Your next one?
Yeah, just give me a second. $24 total?
Good.
Total.
What was that?
20 total.
All right, so you have successfully created the first potion. Where's my marker? Go ahead and start a new set of 4.
So roll another d20.
Yep, d20 plus dexterity and proficiency.
Okay. $13.
Okay, good.
$10.
All right, that one failed. Next one.
23.
Success. One more.
Ten.
Ooh. All right. So second potion failed, unfortunately. In the process, you actually grab lunch, and as you're getting ready to start the next one, to not slow yourself down, you're eating while you're doing it, and some of your food drops into the potion vial partway in. And you try to save
Yes,
it, but
that's
unfortunately, you end up with a bottle of sludge. All right, so two more to go. Two more sets of four. If you still want to make all four, or
Yeah.
attempt all four. Stay. What the hell?
18.
Success.
Oh, I already know that's gonna fail. Nine.
That's a fail.
$18 again.
Success. One more to go.
$18 again.
All right, so you have a second success. And
Do I
you can
roll
attempt-
again?
Yeah, and one more set of four.
Okay.
Aren't you glad you don't have to do this every time you do fletching, Hazuko?
Yeah, right?
That's gonna be a fail. It's gonna be a 9 again.
All right, so first one's a failure. Potion gets off to a rough start. Duskchin decided it was a good idea to let Malcolm's father try to fly the ship.
19.
Success. One failure, one success.
And 21.
21. Success. Still have one more to go, right?
I think so.
All these checks to make one potion.
Yep.
Oh
Has
my
to be-
god, that's a natural. It's a natural 20.
Nice. All right. Yeah, it's 3 out of 4 successful crafting checks. Basically, 1 check per hour. It takes 4 hours to make a potion of greater healing. 4 hours to make the potion, and she has to perform to a certain standard for at least 3 of those 4 hours for it to come out good. All right. So you have
I'm
you
just
can
rolling
add.
I'm just rolling a cleric next campaign, guys. Just saying.
You have 3 potions of greater healing that you can add to your inventory.
Cool.
What'd you do with the potion of sludge?
I don't even know yet.
Are you gonna test it?
Oh. Okay. All right. I got an idea. Give me a second here. I'm gonna add the potion. You said greater healing?
Yep, you got 3 potions of greater healing.
can't tell if you added it to my inventory or not. Jesus, this thing keeps popping up on my screen. Okay, there we go. Alright, I got an idea. So I decided to take the potion of sludge to Malcolm, and I whisper in his ear to see if he could get Zuko to drink it.
Oh, I most certainly can. Matter of fact, let's just tell him it's a free potion and have him add it to his inventory. And then anytime he uses a potion in the future, Matt has to roll a luck die to determine whether or not it's that potion.
It's right now.
Wow. Alright, so Zuko, do you fall for it?
Yes.
Okay, how many do you have any potions of greater healing in your inventory already?
That's poison. No.
Okay, so add a potion of greater healing, and everybody's gonna have to help me remember. The next time he tries to use that.
Notes: Zuko has bad potion.
And the best part is he knows, like, Jake knows, but by the time that happens, he's probably going to forget. So in the middle
For
of
sure,
that,
for
like, he's
sure.
going to potion of greater healing.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Jake, I need you to roll me a straight D20. For what? It's a death saving throw.
17.
I was role playing the future situation.
So would he get any restorative property for it, but maybe just like also taste ranch dressing, or would it be straight not good at all?
I'm gonna have to put some thought on it. I'm gonna have to decide what a failed potion of greater healing would result in. In fact, he might get some healing and then just take poison damage for a couple rounds. Who knows? Alright, so... Alright, so the end of the last day, Duskshin comes up to you, Malcolm, and says, well, when you wake up, we should be pulling into Anexa shortly thereafter.
Thank you, Dustin. You are always able to get us where we need to go.
Any idea where we're landing?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, Matt. What did you say?
Any idea where we're landing?
What do you guys think? Should we go to the spire, or should we just land right in the middle of the palace compound like we did last time? Or like right outside the gates, I think. Let's go to the spire. Let's go to the spire. Isn't Anexa where Sandwich Guy is?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh no! There goes Luna.
Part of me... Have you watched Dragon Prince?
I have not watched Dragon Prince, no.
Okay, well, there's just tiny little, not like important to the story spoiler, but there's this like baker that is just this like side character that you see once in the first season, and that's the end of it. But in one of the later seasons, there's a big battle, and one of the only truly campy parts of the show, they have him come in and he's like throwing pastries, and part of me wants to make the guy at the ticket booth be part of the army that goes up against Orcus in the end? As much as he hates you, he's fighting by your side throwing sandwiches.
That'd be great.
I mean, he could just like be throwing sandwiches to our troops, making sure they're fed and kept full
That's true.
and active.
Gotta give a good ending to all the NPCs in the story. Alright, so... I just realized I forgot to bring up the calendar. I haven't even been advancing the clock.
Take your time, Matt. It's been a while. It's been a while. So we all gotta get used to stuff.
Alright, let's see. 1, 2, 3 days.
I am not
Plus-
a big bed. They can fucking move up. You're laying on me. Be happy.
Sorry guys, I just advanced 3 years instead of 3 days.
Holy.
Is that when we show up 3 years later and everyone's like, dude, where you rolled like the fox?
Where you been?
I'm old.
Guys get a little lost there.
Yeah. Malcolm's daughter is already a toddler. It's like speaking full sentences. Alright. 1, 2.
Wait, did we determine that I knew what the sex of the child was? Because
Yes.
you just gave it out.
Yes, because you. Yeah. Remember you got the magic sonogram mirror as an engagement gift.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now.
I just forgot the name of the baby. That's all.
Well, I think that's why I was hoping it was going to be a male, because I was going to name it after Alaric. But we'll figure something out. I got time still, I think.
Maybe. Alaric, huh?
Alara?
I could go with Alara.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna name him after Alaric, my fallen comrade.
Okay,
Yeah,
so.
played that character well.
Alright, so in the middle of the night, you do run into a brief storm, which slows things down a little bit. But on the upside, instead of arriving at 1 o'clock in the morning, you arrive shortly after the sunup. The city is already bustling.
Before we head out of the airship, are we going to have breakfast?
Sure, if you'd like to.
Okay. Yeah, I want to have breakfast. I also want to make a sandwich
Okay.
to take with me.
Uh-oh. Oh boy.
Alright. Okay, so you successfully make a sandwich.
He
This
didn't
is
tell
gonna
you
be
what kind of
interesting.
sandwich.
Yeah, what kind of sandwich is it?
I don't know what kind of meat would we have on the ship. I mean, I'm sure we'd have the stuff to make bread as needed, or
Yep.
loaves of bread. I'm sure too.
Beef and chicken
Like
would
mutton,
be.
beef,
Yeah.
chicken, yeah. Yeah, just a plain sandwich, nothing special.
Okay. This is, of course, before sliced bread, so.
Do I have to invent sliced bread too?
Do it. 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 Do it.
I was thinking about inventing the refrigerator, so
I
because a
mean,
lot of food I steal, it would make sense.
I can't
I mean,
remember how.
there probably are gemstones and stuff like that that produce a cooling effect if you could figure out how to utilize them in some kind of thermal casing to keep things cold.
Exactly.
There was also a medieval technique of building this kind of hut and having a fire in the center would actually suck the heat up through the center and cool off the surrounding room. And I believe before sliced bread, you bought a loaf of bread and sandwiches were still cut, but they were much thicker chunks of bread, generally speaking, weren't as uniform.
Probably more filling.
Yes, probably healthier too. Not as many preservatives, but I had a brain fart, forgot what I was trying to do. Oh.
We started talking about food, so your brain went towards food.
Yep. That's right. I need to switch to the city sounds.
Is that why Matt's gonna ban food talk out of his streams now?
All right. So, as I said, you arrived shortly after sunup. The city is already bustling beneath you. I forget his title. The worker for the city does come up and the inspector who greets the ships comes up and greets you at the dock, and
I'm sure you recognize this Serenity by now.
Yes, he does, and he has a very concerned look on his face. Welcome
It's been
to
3 years.
Anexa. I'm not going to worry about the docking fee today. I think it's important that you go to the Lord Mayor's estate promptly.
Uh-oh.
Well then, let's go.
You all head to the elevator.
Can I do an insight or perception check to see like if he's worried or if he's, what kind of what he's presenting about us getting there as quickly as possible?
Good idea.
Yeah. Roll an insight check.
Insight. That's going to be 20.
Nice.
Pretty
He seems confused and surprised.
Okay, so like he didn't expect us to come back. Oh, did they get word of the airship crash here already while we were flying back?
You have no way of knowing at the moment.
Okay.
I feel like everything's delayed. I could see Ryan talking, but like his words are coming out first.
Yeah,
I hear him before I see him.
The stream
Yeah,
output
looking at
might
the
be a little
stream,
bit slow.
it definitely is. Yeah, the stream's always delayed.
Okay. So it's not just me going crazy. Okay,
Nope.
just making sure. I mean, I'm already crazy, so.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about you guys, but I think
no.
we should probably head to the Lord Mayor's Manor ASAP.
Yeah, let's go.
Yes.
Yesterday.
All right, so
But on our way out of the tower. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You go ahead, Matt. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Echo, this is an interesting experience for you as you step off of the gangplank. This is the first time you truly process the fact that you stepped onto this structure that resembles a home, and when you step off of it, you are not in the same place that you were. You were starting to get the idea as you were traveling, but it really hits you like a ton of bricks. That it's a moving house essentially, and on top of this, you are standing on a somewhat narrow wooden pathway, about 400 or 500 feet in the air. And it is jutting out from a stone tower. And looking down, you see for the first time in your life, this is your first experience with a mortal realm full-fledged city. Most settlements in the Fey realm are fairly spread out, sparsely populated. But this is everything's crammed really close together. There are an absolutely shit ton of people below. So that is your experience as you step off of the ship. So all of you gradually make your way over to the elevator, which brings you down to the ground level. Malcolm, I believe you had something.
Yes, I have this sandwich. I'm going to walk up to the to our favorite friend here in Anexa, and I'm just gonna leave it on the counter for him, and just say, "Good morning," and walk away.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so it is the usual ticket booth that you've started this long-standing feud that probably neither of you really remembers what started it. But he kind of looks at it in disgust and pushes it to the side after you put it on the counter, and you step away. Do you look back at any point?
Yes, as we're just about to turn a bend or something, I'll look back and see if I can't see what he's doing with it.
All right, roll a perception check.
Did you ever write down why the fuel started?
Oh, I think I told him have a good day or something, and that was the end of it.
Jesus Christ.
15.
I think you're right.
15? Yes, so when you first handed it to him, he kind of shoved it off to the side, no way I'm gonna accept that. But as you're getting ready to turn the corner, you look back and you see he thinks you're out of view, and he scoops it in front of him and starts ravenously digging into it. Apparently he was very hungry.
Well, hopefully
Does Malcolm say anything?
Oh, you're ways away at this point.
Oh.
Like if I yell at the top of my lungs, "Have a nice day," do you think he would hear it?
Yes, he probably would.
Oh my God.
I'm going to do that.
Are you still looking at him from a distance?
Oh,
Yes.
of course he is.
Yes. I'm gonna wait till he's almost done with the sandwich before I do it, though.
Okay, he almost chokes on the last piece as he hears that. Look. And he looks very grumpy about it because he realizes he's been had.
Classic. Well, I'm good now, so I'm ready to go to the Lord Mayor's Manor.
Alright. Let me see if I can bring up the map of the city again. Hey, cool. It was already set. Oh, that's because it's below the map. No. Alright, so... Sorry, just trying to remember where everything is in Anexa. Yep, there's the tower. Alright, so you take a few turns, make your way gradually through the city until you arrive at the front gates of the Lord Mayor's estate.
Did you make this map? Is this one new?
No, this is the I made it. This is the one I made way back when I was still using Incarnate.
It looks different.
It's zoomed in closer than I think you've ever seen it.
Okay.
But this is the spire where the airship is parked. Lord Mayor's estate's over here. So anyway, you make your way over there to the front gates. The guards let you in immediately, recognizing who you are. Before you can make it to the front door opens, and you see Clambach, all 3 feet of him, rushing out, unkempt, looking a little bit frazzled. He's got a fresh red mark on the side of his face, like he might have gotten punched or something, or hit with something. Regulators, Malcolm, it is fantastic to see you alive. So we had beautiful funerals planned for all 3 of you, actually. Malcolm, you may still need yours, so we aren't going to tear anything down yet. I think you're really going to like it. It's very nice, very classy.
So what you're saying is, with my first day, I should have wrote a message to Ark.
Yes, I should have. So, yes, I am genuinely happy to see you, Malcolm, because I'm tired of being the messenger that's getting killed. You clearly, I can tell by the look on your face, realize your mistake. You owe me one, but please, all of you. And he notices you, Echo, and he walks up to you, grabs you by the hand. So nice to meet you. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. You're new here.
Yes. I'm Echo.
Echo, and very
Nice to meet
talkative
you.
too. Well, welcome to my estate. Sorry, side note, you guys welcomed her into the Regulators. Did you give her a badge?
No, because we're terrible people.
I would say while I was talking to her and getting to know her a little bit better, and I told her welcome to the crew, I would have given her a badge for the Regulators as well.
Okay, so Echo,
Malcolm's covering our asses. We're good.
Echo, you have a choice between a cloak pin or a old medieval style badge that has a large stylized letter R, made of half of a 6-gun cylinder, an arrow, and a sword. Malcolm wears his as a badge. I believe both Mira and Zuko use theirs as cloak pins, but I don't know if you have put it on, which one you chose.
Probably the coat pin.
Cloak pin, okay. And so you're wearing it as you approach the estate?
Yes.
All right, so he says, well, whoever you are, I can see you're friend of a friend, and you're more than welcome in my home. You chose an interesting group to take up with, and you're about to see why. And he starts walking towards the front door, and as he goes to open it, he says, "Oh." He turns back around and he says, "If I were you, I would duck." And then he swings the door open. What do you guys do?
Doc?
Duck.
I'm not gonna duck, but I'm going to try to dodge whatever is gonna happen here.
Okay, everybody roll a dexterity saving throw.
Jesus Christ. Malcolm, you really...
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
Yep.
18.
18.
Dexterity saving throw?
Yep.
Wait, where do I find the saving throws on this thing?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Top left
Oh,
of your
okay.
character sheet, underneath of your stats.
Oh, thank you.
So would I add the thing next to the dexterity under the saving throw, or that just the number next to dexterity? Under
Saving
dexterity.
throw saving throw is sometimes higher than straight dexterity, so I would check under saving throws.
Okay.
20 total for me.
20 total for you.
Well, if I use straight dex, it's still over 20. It is, because I have a 17 plus 4 if I just use straight dex. But if I use dexterity saving throw, it's 17 plus 8.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
Alright, let's see how good of an arm Argette has. I know I have her stat block here.
Oh shit, you really pissed her off.
Would I be able to dash and try to catch her hand as she goes to throw it, actually?
It's already, as the door swings open, it's already leaving her hand. I don't think you're fast. But
Okay.
you're not that fast.
Gotcha. What if I try to shoot it out of the air? I'm just joking.
Alright, this is a ranged attack, so it would actually be dexterity. Alright. Lucky for you, Malcolm, she... improvised objects. You see a vase arch through the air, through the open doorway. It manages to go over all of you and smashes into pieces on the sidewalk outside.
Do we hear Clambach say something? Because, it didn't play.
Argette, I understand you're upset, but he knows what he did wrong. I am sure he is very sorry. Please don't hit me again. Just everybody needs to take a deep breath. Your Malcolm, your father is looking very wide-eyed at all of this, and can't decide if he wants to interject or if he needs to stay out of it. So for the time being, he does.
Makes sense.
Argette says, "You've got a lot of nerve, showing up here unannounced after." Clambach, read it. What? Read it. Oh, yes. And he pulls out a piece of parchment. This was called out by the priest in front of the... wow, I've forgotten the names of all of my own gods. The Temple of Udal. And so he starts reading off of this paper. Hold on, let me get rid of these sound effects since you guys are inside now.
In my defense, we haven't played Dungeons and Dragons in months. So...
Oh, that's okay, because this is so much more entertaining than if you had remembered to immediately write ahead.
I also wouldn't have thought that it would have gotten here already, but I guess birds and message and...
Yeah, Temple of Udal is able to collect
sense.
news from very far away very fast. So he clears his throat. Turmoil in Lorem Sor. Daimo Roman Davalos has been killed in his own home along with a number of his personal guards, all retired members of the Tetsero Legion. Culprit is believed to be none other than longtime fugitive and wanted murderer Percival Boone. Boone was seen being escorted into the Davalos estate by a foreign bounty hunter, but was nowhere to be found after an apparent struggle inside. Percival's father, Amos Boone, is also missing. A short time later, the stolen airship that was seen leaving the estate was found several miles away, crashed and burning in an orange grove. The bodies of 2 adult humans were found on board. Percival and Amos are assumed dead, but the Tercera Legion vows to remain vigilant for any sightings of them in case this was some sort of ruse. However, most believe that this is an end to the story of the notorious man who evaded the Legion for years. Yes, we heard this the very following day. Argette tries to collect herself. Malcolm, you're able to contact us instantly, without delay. You, in fact, faster than that news report possibly could have gotten here. You faked your own death, and you didn't think to ride ahead. We even gave it an extra day just in case it was, in fact, a ruse. But after a couple days, it seemed that perhaps this was your last quest. Do you have any idea how worried I was?
I think he does now.
I can only imagine how worried you were, Argette. There's nothing I can say that can fix what happened. But I did have a lot of things on my mind. My father, I point behind me.
She looks at him and she sees. She that breaks through the barrier a little bit.
I had a lot of catching up to do. On the airship ride back here. Not to mention a new member of our crew. But I promise you, I will never forget to contact you first ever again.
She doesn't seem to know how quite to respond yet. She's juggling multiple things now in her head, and your father steps forward. Argette, is it? My name is Amos. I hopefully still your future father-in-law. For what it's worth, I understand how you feel, and please try to remember I felt that way for years rather than a few days. Malcolm has always been a very focused individual. Still getting used to calling him Malcolm, but he was always... anything he has attempted to do, he has always put his full effort into, his full mind, and sometimes it made him forget about the world around him. Frustrating, but it is a common feature in men such as ourselves. So please do forgive him. And as he said, he was spending time catching up with me, and the entire incident was quite spectacular to behold. Very impressive. And of course, faking his death was the smart thing to do, given the power of the Tercera Legion and his status in that nation. If he were to ever have to return to that territory, it would be very unfortunate if they were looking for him even harder than they were before. So, I understand how upset you are, but I hope that you can understand it is a part of who he is, and no malice was intended. She sighs, kind of puffs out her cheeks and looks at you, Malcolm, and says, "Well, you've got me outnumbered, Malcolm. I suppose maybe I overreacted slightly. I should have known. I felt it. I knew there was no way that you had died. If things were that dire, you would have ridden me before there was any chance of you not returning home. So, well, climb back. I suppose you can cancel the funeral."
Can I see what you had planned? I'm kind of interested now.
He slaps you.
Please slap him.
She actually chuckles at this. She remembers this is Malcolm. And Clambach kind of chuckles at it too, and then he looks up, he's like, "Are you serious?"
Oh, he's serious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm serious.
I've got to get more friends. All right, here we go. This way. This song is really loud for what it is.
Well, for you, it's loud, yeah.
Indoor peaceful. All right. So he brings you to the same, the great hall of his estate, where you had your engagement party, and it is decked out in black sheets and draperies. There are 3 very high quality oil paintings of the 3 of you, Zuko, Mira, and Malcolm.
Can I keep mine?
Oh my god. Well, I guess I will ask, what do you plan on doing with these now?
Well, I may save them for when these funerals really come. You guys live dangerous lives.
This is true. We do lead some dangerous lives.
We do.
But then these photos would be out.
As soon as the child's born, sure.
Take him if you want. A depressing reminder of I was the one who bought into it all in the beginning. So I guess I suppose are decking me when I told her that my lack of optimism had come back to hit me in the face, and then she did. So my apologies for making the situation worse. If you want the oil paintings, you're more than welcome to take them. There's also a lot of extra food tonight, so I hope you're all hungry.
I definitely am. Can I invite a guest to if we're gonna have like a feast or something?
Anyone who is a friend of yours, Malcolm, is welcome here, as I've said before. Who should we be expecting?
There's a ticket person at the Spire.
Oh my god!
He seemed pretty hungry earlier, so I figured if we could find somebody to relieve him from duty for the evening.
Why would you make you mad? Just wanna shrivel up for a minute. You still got your touch, man. We haven't played in months, but you still got it.
Jesus. He seemed to think about this for a moment, like he's trying to remember something. He's like, that asshole? You... Whatever you want, Malcolm. I'll be sure he's invited for dinner tonight. Goodness. Well, I'm going...
What's his name? Do you know his name besides asshole?
I'm sure at some point I did. I will find out when I send the invite. I know who you're talking about, but I've always known him as asshole.
So he really is an asshole.
Well, I suppose he's just a you reach a certain age, you're entitled to a little bit of grumpiness. But, it's frustrating when he's in a public service position like he is. I suppose, for all I know, he has a heart of gold. But I'll invite him.
Yeah, I've fought T-Rexes. I've defied death. I've courted death like a lover. I'm not gonna let this man take me down. I will kill him with kindness if need be.
Is that what you named your guns, Malcolm?
What's that?
I said, is that what you named your guns, Malcolm?
Yes, one's kind and the other one's Ness.
All right. Well, if you need body cleanup services, please let me know in advance. I'm going to get rid of some of these macabre decorations. Since we're not having a funeral, just because we're eating funeral food doesn't mean we need to be decorated for one. The estate is yours, of course. Oh, before I forget, I received a message shortly after finding out that you were coming back. I need, and I want this to sound like a request, but let me stress, I need you to stay for at least another day before taking off on and doing whatever it is you have planned. Echo, is it, right?
Yes.
Welcome to my estate. I don't know if the regulators plan on staying on the ship or here, but I can have an extra room set aside for you.
I would assume that we would stay here.
Very well. I can have a room set aside. I know you seem to be of Elvish descent, so I'm not sure if you need one, but it is there if you need it. I will find out. You're very welcome. Sorry, I have not introduced myself. I am Lord Mayor Clambach. I have known your friends here for... Well, it seems like an eternity, but it's probably less than a year now, isn't it? When they met me, I was a disgraced baron, and they helped me rise back to the position of Lord Mayor. I am now very close with the Jarl of the province, and I won't say it wasn't worth it, but they've been more trouble than they're worth sometimes, it seems. But, well, I'm sure you'll learn. Anyway, I have work to get done now, unplanning a funeral. Well,
it's nice to meet you.
Thank you. Welcome to my home, and please let me know if you need anything. I'm going to get out before somebody else decides to punch me. And he scurries off.
I look at our guy. I was like, "So did you punch him or did you slap him?"
I believe I swung the nearest object I could find at him. I don't quite remember what it was. I was in a blind rage.
I would say though, that I'm gonna jump in too. I'm like, Arget's a puncher.
I seem to remember something being in my hands. It may have been my fist that hit him, but I may have been holding something at the same time. Again, blind rage, grieving. What do you call a fiance who loses?
It's completely understandable. I'm just curious.
I know my future wife, and she is not one to slap. She would punch or use a weapon for sure.
Oh yes, that's certainly true. It definitely wasn't a slap.
And that child's gonna have amazing parents.
Malcolm. Well, you know what? It is fairly early in the morning. I don't know if you've had breakfast, but perhaps we could... I know a nice local shop. We could get some tea. Me, you, and your father could sit down and spend some time talking, getting to know each other. Putting this
sounds good to me.
Nasty business behind us. With me just a moment here. Having a brain fart. Yes.
I just realized my phone's not charging.
Oh, jeez.
Shoot! Okay, what do I do? Wait, is your laptop plugged into the wall, sir?
Should be. All right, tell you what, since we do have a shorter session tonight, before we get into the business of your day in Anexa, we will go ahead and take our break now. I will go get that charging situation fixed. We'll be back in a little bit to finish up today's session.
Sounds good. I'll go drink myself.
Off to a nice smooth start. All right, see everybody in a little bit.
you doing? Half of the stuff they're suggesting.
All right, and we are back. All right, so you guys have Anexa to yourselves for the day. Malcolm, you are taking your fiance and your father to a local shop that serves tea and has a nice little patio. Nope, actually, second thought, you would be probably drinking inside. I forgot we're still in the middle of winter.
Ooh, so if we have the city to ourselves, then would they usually do any postings on the announcement board, like any odd jobs for?
Yeah, you want to
huntsman?
look for a huntsman contract.
Yeah, anything like that, and maybe visit the bookshop.
Okay. All right. So Mira heads to the notice board to see if there's any huntsman contracts that she can pick up. Zuko, anything?
Can I
you
go
want
with
to-
Mira?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Zuko, what are you doing with your day?
I don't think there's anything I need to do. We'll probably just kind of, I won't say hang out, but explore.
Okay. Oh wait, nope, that's Palhas. Never mind. Let's say you want to visit the museum, but that's in Palhas. And don't forget, one of the magic shops is here as well if you want to stop by there. All right, so improv time. Let's see. Mira and
Echo.
Echo. Trying to remember where the notice board is in. Let me go ahead and OneDrive. Go, please. Why is... Yeah, close enough. D maps. Fierland. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? It's in the notes. Settlements. Anexa.
I was gonna say, if you had the map and stuff in World Anvil, I was looking, but I couldn't find it.
Go to bed, Valencia. The boys are asleep.
Although I don't think you've used World Anvil for this for a while now.
Just put it on your dresser, Valley. Please go to your room.
Okay.
You really need to learn to listen.
I did not write down, but I believe the message board is outside the Temple of Udal. So the two of you make your ways to the Shallow District. Right. Yep, the High Shallow District. You make your way to the High Shallow District, the Temple of Udal, and on the message board, lots of little odd jobs, missing pets. There is one huntsman contract. Let's see, what do you end up finding? Let's pull out
I just, I'm in World Anvil and got to session 4 and read the recap.
Session 4 is...
Underestimating the strength of these small creatures, Zuko was knocked unconscious in the battle before the rest of the party killed all 3 of the bandits.
You saw?
He now has PTSD from any time he encounters one of my house. Or hears a squeak.
Come to think of it, is there such thing as shrinks in your world?
Yeah, they're called bartenders.
I no lie thought you said Shreks.
Oh, I'm sure there's ogres too. We encountered them. Wait, yeah, those were ogres, right?
Yes, I believe that those were ogres you encountered at the massacre at Elta. All right. So you find a message on the board. A town, maybe 10 minutes down the road from Anexa, has a small iron mine. No, the copper mine. Sorry. And has had people miners have gone missing and never been found. There have been reports of a scorpion-like creature, an albino scorpion-like creature that has been supposedly seen inside the mine, though most people were dismissing it as paranoia, but more and more miners have gone missing, and they are looking for a huntsman to find what it is inside of this mine that's picking them off, if anything. Would you like to take that mission?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Alright, so the two of you head out of town, out of the south gate, across the river, into this small town. Let's see here. So, you arrive in town. The person who put the notice up, tells you about 15 men have gone missing over the past couple months, and their remains have not been found. Let's see. They describe a white, rumors about a large white creature, like albino white, supposedly has been seen scurrying through the caves, but in addition to spider-like legs, there also supposedly has large snapping claws on its front appendages, and they have found in some places near where some of the miners have last been seen remains of a sticky filament, almost like spider webbing, stuck to the walls of the mine. What would you like to do?
The spider webbing in mine just gave me PTSD.
Yeah.
I used to earring and I let Malcolm know what it is that I'm doing, just in case,
You are well.
wonders
Okay,
where
you could have done that before you left
where
town, but
at. Oh, okay.
you're outside of the range of the earring.
So
And
I
Ec-
look
you
at
can chime in
Echo
whenever
and,
you want as well.
Come again?
I was reminding Echo that she can chime in whenever she wants. She came along with you.
Sorry.
Just making sure you remember that you're there and you can.
Oh yeah, no, I am.
So I look at Echo and I let her know that we should be cautious while doing this, just in case.
So how would you?
That spider pretty much ignored you guys and tried to kill me with a passion. So
So you,
Hey,
you
I knew to keep my distance last time. I was killing the babies. It came at you last time.
So you arrive in town. You get a description of a supposed creature that was seen. How would you like to proceed?
We could always scout out and see if it is a spider or a scorpion.
Okay.
Because I'm only going by hearsay. I would like to know what it is that I'm hunting.
Okay.
Same.
Would you like to do any intelligence check to see, what the description reminds you of what they supposedly
Yeah.
saw?
Yeah.
What is your favored prey or whatever we called it on?
Let me double check. I believe it was monstrosities for huntsman, but I need to double check just in case. That is not the page that I was trying to go to. Favored prey, monstrosities.
Okay. So then roll a. Brain fart.
Roll a brain fart? Okay.
Nature check with advantage. Ooh.
So that's a d20. Would you let me see what I'm doing? Jesus. So advantage means I get to reroll, right?
Yeah, and you take the higher.
it means you roll 2d20 and take the higher roll.
Okay. Jesus. Okay. 7.
7 is the best you did out of 2.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you'll get another opportunity later on, but it's something about it seems familiar. It's a real creature that's being described. It's rare, but you can't quite put your tongue on what it is, and you can't quite remember any details about it at this point. So proceeding to the mines.
Yes, cautiously.
Okay. So you proceed towards the mines. They are largely abandoned at the moment. Too many people have gone missing lately for them to continue trying to work it. And you follow directions to lead you to the location that the most recent miner disappeared.
Can I investigate the area?
Sure. Roll an investigation check.
Okay. Sorry. $14.
14. Alright, so investigating the area. This last guy who disappeared was only a few days ago. One of the first things you notice is this is a not heavily traveled area of the mine. He was the last miner that disappeared was probably here alone when whatever happened, and you can actually pick out his footprints, which very suddenly stop with a decent amount of the. There's another connecting natural cave formation ahead, but his footprints very suddenly stop, as if he was lifted off the ground or disappeared on the spot. They stop without any sign of sudden movement, any sign of falling, anything like that. And going off of that, you actually just instinctively look up and see the remains of this spiderweb-like material, but it is significantly different than spider silk. So it's stickier. You can tell just from looking at it because all the dust has just clung to it inside of the cave, and the strands are much thicker and less structured than a spider web or anything like that. And that is what you find.
Sorry, I had to switch headphones.
How would you like to proceed?
Would I be able to make another check by seeing the web?
Yeah,
Would
I'll give
that
you another.
actually, like- So would that be another nature check, or would that be?
Yeah. Well, actually, hold on. Let me double check something here. Survival. Try. I'll let you make a survival one for this, with advantage.
I can't see the result. What the heck?
you-
I can't see the result.
Did you roll on the app?
Yeah, but if
Survival
I take
check is 22 total. 15 plus
thank
7.
you. Thank you.
Okay. Now this is starting to seem a little bit more familiar. What it appears has been taking these men is called a cave fisher. It is technically an arachnid, but it looks more like a white lobster with spider-like legs. And a long snout that houses spinnerets, allowing it to produce a sticky filament, which, much like the strands of a spider's webbing, it can snag prey with it. They are typically solitary. They are ambushers. They tend to set up traps and wait for their prey to come along. Generally, they only hunt small animals that dwell deep within caves, but sometimes when scarce food supplies are a factor, they will move closer to the surface, which means they are more likely to encounter humanoids. They also are very intelligent, and they know that humanoids are more difficult prey, so they generally won't attack a group. They will wait for a straggler or a scout moving ahead to grab them. They've been known to be enslaved by some other intelligent creatures, such as goblins and kobolds, stuff like that. Some humans actually go out looking for them because their innards are pretty valuable, especially its blood is alcoholic and tastes like a sweet liquor.
So in other words, I shouldn't go after this thing by myself.
Being in a group will have you at an advantage because you can be on the hunt without worrying too much about traps, as long as you don't get stuck. You also know that it is... Hey, wow, man, they go into detail on this. Cave fisher meat is edible, tasting much like crab cooked in strong wine. The creature's shell is used in the manufacture of tools, armor, and jewelry.
Wow.
The filaments can be woven into rope that is thin and tough and nearly invisible. And it has a natural aversion to fire.
Fireball it is, bitches.
Alright, so how would you... sorry, while you're doing that check, you notice that its tracks repeatedly lead down the natural cave formation ahead of you. So it looks like it is using the natural cave tunnels between the mine shafts as...
To get around.
Yeah. So how would you like to proceed?
So I look at Echo and I relate to her what it is that I remember. And I also tell her we should come back with the entire group instead of trying to take care of this ourselves.
And I agree.
Okay. Interesting. Alright, so what do you tell the townsfolk when you come out?
Do not go into that cave. Stay out of it. I'll come back with reinforcements.
The leader of the village is a bit exasperated like this. Well, I'm glad you confirmed that there's something in there that's killing our men, but this mine is our entire town's source of income. We can't wait too long on this.
I would say if you go in, stay in groups, don't go anywhere alone.
Roll persuasion check, Echo.
It's funny because I was
With-
about to bribe him.
Is that
to
in
vote for a second
is that in
chair.
skills? Is that the plus the thing under skills?
Yeah.
Or what is that plus?
Yeah, it's under your skills.
Charisma.
Yeah. So.
So that's a persuasion, right?
Yep. And
Yeah.
do it with advantage too.
Okay. 16 plus. So is it the charisma next to the word persuasion?
Yeah.
Yes.
So your persuasion is plus 10.
26.
26.
Nice.
All right, so he looks like he kind of wants to. Like, you haven't actually convinced him with your words, but when he looks you in the eye, and you know that you're starting to notice this happens to you a lot. Your presence kind of calms people, and they don't like contradicting you, especially about things that aren't overly important. All right, well, yeah, I suppose we could do that for a while, but try to
Okay,
get back.
hold on, Matt.
Yeah.
I want to see something here. I also give him 1,000 gold just to help them out a little bit. I'm not sure if it's enough to help out the town, but as a way of helping their financial situation.
This is.
Thousand?
Well, this is almost as much as we were planning on paying for the eradication, but I appreciate that. Tell you what, I'll hold on to it, and we'll only use what we need to recoup our losses until you get back. If there's anything left, we'll give you this back and a little extra on top for getting our operation back on track.
No problem.
What did you find in there that you feel you need so much backup?
I can't remember the name of it.
It was Cave Fisher.
It was Katie Fisher?
Cave Fisher.
Oh! Okay, feel free to make fun of me now. Feel free to make fun of me now.
Do you need hearing aids?
Yes!
Ah, the infamous Kate Fisher. Very dangerous among these parts.
All right, so he kind of, when you say Cave Fisher, he kind of perks up. Oh, interesting. All right, well, you get back as soon as you can, right?
Yes.
Sorry, just need to note something down here. Oh, all right, so I guess we have a combat for next week. All right, so
So is she bringing all of us, or just Zuko and and her?
well, this took most of the day. So Zuko, is there anything you got up to while you were, or should I jump over to Malcolm and?
No, just check out the magic shop and then just kind of walk around town, see if there's anything to see.
All right. So you stop by Alkai's.
Zuko's more of a wanderer.
17.
It takes you to the magic shop.
Yep.
He says that and the song freaking Candy Shop pops in my head. Why?
Same.
Because it
Exactly.
did that on purpose.
Yeah.
To invoke that song in your head.
All right. So, Zuko, you stop by Alhai's tent in the northern district.
So why, when
Wall
you
Street
say
District.
magic shop, did I think you were actually going to a shop that sold magic stuff and not the bazaar?
The bazaar. Yeah.
That's a good question. But I thought the same thing, honestly.
Oh, you thought he was going to a shop for magic tricks?
Nope.
Yes. I thought he was going to Michael Scott it up and buy like 3 magic sets.
Oh, shut up.
Alhai recognizes you, excited to see you. We don't have a lot of new things in stock, but let's see what we have that might interest you. A few very rare items have been found on our recent treks. Bear with me just a moment.
Excuse me.
He pulls out a small wooden box. And opens it up. Inside is a claw. It has a kind of demonic look to it, but something even more unnatural about it than typical demon qualities. Very dark aspect to it. This is the claw of an eldritch creature. Pressing this to your skin for a short period of time will grant you a tattoo that allows your fists to become magical weapons. So basically this, you get a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls with unarmed strikes, so if you're just using your fists instead of your weapon. It also makes those unarmed strikes magical for the purpose of overcoming non-magic attack resistance.
Wow. Kind of creepy though.
And is the tattoo permanent?
You can unattune from it, but it is it's one of those magic items that once you undo it, it's doesn't have any. It won't work again for a very long time. Oh, another feature of it too. You get a feature called Eldritch Maul. As a bonus action, you empower the tattoo for 1 minute. For the duration, each of your melee attacks with a weapon or unarmed strike can reach a target up to 15 feet away from you as inky tendrils launch toward the target. In addition, your melee attacks deal extra 1d6 force damage on a hit. Once used, the bonus action can't be used again until the next dawn.
Okay, so you get one use a day.
Of the Eldritch Maul feature, yeah.
Okay.
What else do we have here? There's one other one there. Blizzard. He pulls out another wooden box. Inside is a small, very somewhat thin metal rod with a wooden handle. To you, it looks something like a wand. But he explains that this tool can transform into a variety of tools. As an action, you can touch the item and transform it into any type of artisan's tool of your choice. Whatever form the tool takes, you are proficient with it. Excuse me. While holding this tool, what's that?
I feel like we've seen this one before.
I don't think I brought this one up before. It's the all-purpose tool.
Hold on. I want to say I bought that.
That would be impressive. Let me know if you did, because I didn't think I owned this book yet last time we played.
Fling hook. Hold on, I'm looking. Arrows. Not. Wait. I have a screwdriver.
A screwdriver.
Form to artisan tool. Proficient with it. All-purpose tool.
Okay, yeah, I guess you did. All right, so that one's already you've already bought that. Well, that is all I have new today, but I am expecting a new shipment in shortly. So if you come back within the next few days, we may have some more for you to look at.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
I apologize. I did not realize I had this book yet the last time we played. So, all right.
No, that's fine.
We'll
You were
look through-
just describing it. I'm like, I feel like I bought this.
I didn't mention the curse where it keeps returning to the shop after you bought it.
No, there was a second one. It's its brother. One does good, one does evil.
All right, so Malcolm, you are at the tea shop with your father and your fiance. Is there anything in particular you bring up into discussion?
Do I remember anything about my mother?
Vague visual memories, emotions, but you were fairly young when she passed away.
Do I remember her name or anything like that?
Just a moment. I think I have that written down for you. Ida.
Ida?
Ida. EDA.
Okay. I guess I would start off with, explaining to my father, how I met Argette. About her inn and everything else like that. It's like brief history.
Okay. He laps up every word. He seems to be kind of giddy at the very concept of you adding any sort of domestic aspect to your life. Something it seems like he did not expect to ever see, but he's very happy with it. He asks her all kinds of general questions about the tavern and how she came to own it, and stuff like that. He does bring up her strong her strong ways, her attitude, her ability to fend for herself, and was surprised to see that from someone who simply kept a tavern, which she explains to him that she always wanted to own one, and when she was younger she grew up in a city. She worked at one to just learn the ins and outs of the business, but it was in a rough part of town. So she was both, a waitress essentially and a bouncer, and it toughened her up. And when even though she ended up owning a tavern in a very small, well-mannered town, she never lost that experience and kept it well tuned in case she ever needed to use it. At one point, you and your father are talking back and forth about, just general stuff, and she's watching you both very intently. And she says, I don't want to be rude or bring up a insensitive topic, but the curiosity is getting the best of me. Malcolm, well, have you told your father about you losing your memories?
I have not yet.
Apologies, I didn't mean to reveal that before you were ready.
No, it's fine. I just haven't, talked to him enough to really go over all that with him yet.
Right.
But I do kind of go into how my exit from the city and everything, and my running from Rumlin, and then the subsequent journey, and then how I lost my memories because of everything that was going on.
Your father is definitely surprised at this, and she feels like it seems odd. The look on his face is like it brings up all kinds of other questions. Well, I'm curious, Malcolm. You've expressed that when you were given the memories back, that a lot of them felt like they happened to someone else. I'm just curious if this feels any different. I mean, obviously there was still some sort of connection to those memories if you chose to seek him out and save him from that life. I'm just curious if it's any different than any of the other memories that you were given back.
I mean, so out of character, did we not have like the same attachment to our memories whenever we regained them? Because I thought it was just more like we got them back. That was the end of it, kind of thing.
No, the way you guys were given back your memories, especially after considering you actually went through quite a bit between the time you lost them and the time you got them back. You were kind of like starting new lives without those memories. A lot of it, the way the memories were given back to you, most of them looked like you have them. They're there, but a lot of them feel like they happened to somebody else. So it was more like watching your life, having your memory erased and then watching your life as a movie. And you're like, well, that's very interesting, and now it's in my head, but it's not mine, is the way a lot of your memories have felt.
Okay, so back in character, that's a hard question to answer, because a lot of my memories, because of the way they came back to me, and how much time had lapsed between losing them and regaining them, and almost starting a new life before I regained back my memories. A lot of things did seem to be like I was almost watching things happen to somebody else, living somebody else's life. But when it comes to my father, something inside of me just... I think that kind of connection can't be sundered just because of a lost memory.
Your father nods and he says, that makes a lot of sense. Yes,
especially whenever I came back and I saw my father toiling in the fields and what had happened to him because of, like I said, these memories that almost seem like they happened to somebody else. I couldn't leave him like that.
Arget nods. Thank you for answering that. I know it was just a question that was driving me mad. Ever since you told me the story of you losing your memories and getting them back, I've always wondered where the line is between Malcolm and, in your case, Percival Boone.
And I think that connection has even shown even outside of, even when I didn't have my memories completely, I was still my father's son. I still tinkered. I still did the things that my father taught me in life, even without that inherent memory there. It was still like the core part of my being was still my father's son.
Your father chuckles and he says, you know what, I suppose maybe we should all be so lucky. Malcolm has a unique opportunity. He had a interesting upbringing, grew up in a very rough country. Honestly, I have to wonder how much of some of the trouble he got into was all his decision and how much it was influenced by the environment he was in. But now, as a full-grown man, he lost his memory, had to figure out who he was without those memories, and got a fresh start in a way that most of us could never dream of having. But he's right. It didn't even take me a moment to recognize my son. Though he looked a bit different. Clearly had been disconnected from some of his childhood experiences, but I knew it was my son. As in denial as I was at first, I could feel it instinctively. There's some sort of... Well, I suppose when two souls come into contact with each other, there's a transfer that can't be changed by what's in our fragile minds. Either way, I'm glad he came back and found me, and I look forward to finally getting to be part of my son's life in a way that honestly I never could have under the previous circumstances. This definitely seems like a much nicer country to live in. And I personally look forward to retiring and watching my grandchild grow up. So, memories or no memories, let the past be the past, and I'm looking forward to the future.
I agree.
All right, so your conversations continue on, more light-hearted topics. All of you gradually make your return to Klembach's estate in time for dinner. I should probably advance the clock.
The moment I've been waiting for.
There is, as Klembach promised, a lot of food. Significantly less guests than were originally planned for the funeral. So the plates are served with heaping portions. Malcolm, you do see that the ticket booth guy did show up. Let me see. I'm going to find my clock. There we go.
Food fight, right?
Food fight. But he just showed up dressed in his Sunday best, so to speak, and he ends up getting seated right across from you. He looks grumpy as ever, very uncomfortable.
Did somebody did somebody let me know what his name is yet?
Yeah, if you ask somebody, they inform you that his name is Ron Schmale.
Ron Schmale. First, in the world that gave us Gavin, we now have Ron Schmale.
So he kind of shuffles his way through the front foyer and into the Great Hall, keeping his head down most of the time, and takes his seat, begins to eat his dinner. What do you do?
I grab my goblet and reach across the table to clink glasses with him.
Roll a persuasion check.
Ooh, that's a good one. 1 second. Let me see my character sheet. Persuasion, you said?
Yep.
That is an 18.
Okay. He sighs, he looks kind of defeated, and he raises his glass and lets you clink it together with his, and then immediately drinks from it, and, like, gulping it down, and then continues stuffing his face with food. Not so much in a hungry way, but like, I want to keep my mouth full so I don't have to deal with this awkward situation.
Does he have like a mustache or anything like that, or?
Yes, like fairly close cut beard, actually.
Okay. What's his what do I think his political stances are? Is he maybe like a libertarian?
Insight check. No, I had to add political stance to the stat blocks.
You said insight?
Yeah.
Well, that's not good. That's 10.
Yeah, you can't quite get that deep of a read on him. Yeah, best you can get is he's a little bit snobby. Has a bit of a classist attitude.
Okay. So he's probably not loosely based on Ron Swanson, then I'm assuming.
No.
But he does be a bearded guy named Ron. I was kind of hoping.
Ron Swanson would love Malcolm, though.
That's true. In many ways, he would love you. Yeah. But you know, the overall demeanor doesn't say more words than needs to be said. Grumpy. Well, he said the only impression you got, if I recall correctly, this might have had something to do with why you initially didn't get along, because you guys were broke.
Very true. You were very broke.
I feel like there may have been a conversation about how expensive it was going to be to get you guys and your cart and your horses all the way to Palhas, and when he realized you guys couldn't have afforded that in a million years, I think he might have taken the snobby route with it.
and then went to go slam his ticket door closed, and I said, "Have a nice day," and that's what started the whole thing. Very possible.
I'd say that probably sums it up.
Hey, karma's a bitch, and it came back to bite him in the booty.
So, so I'm going to just grab my money pouch and just kind of just drop it on the table in front of me while I start to eat and dig in. So, like, just the sound of all the gold pieces I have in my bag just kind of clink.
He kind of goes wide-eyed. Looks like he's rethinking his life. All right. So, for the sake of brevity, is there anything you like try to engage in conversation with, or do you just let it be awkward the whole meal?
No, I try to talk to him. Let me try to think of exactly what to say. Maybe I'll just bring up try to bring a conversation about trade requests and stuff like that are happening at the Spider right now.
I'm sorry, trade requests?
Yeah, trade requests, or if there's a lot of people looking to travel right now.
He the entire time he's still trying to like keep mouth in his food as much as possible, but he's like conflicted with trying to stay silent and not wanting it to be even more awkward by him literally ignoring you. So he quite as often is talking with a mouth half full, and he indulges you in the conversation. Talks about how travel's slowed down, of course. With the winter, a lot of people have picked where they're going to be, and they're staying there. A lot of the ships going in or out are mostly moving cargo, not people, which specifically for him means his job is pretty mundane during this time period. He's not interacting with a lot of people.
And I'm also making sure I say his name as much as possible. Ron, at least.
He flinches almost every time just Ron. He flinches almost every time you say it. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? What is my life?
Before too long, I will let him just eat and take my leave and tell him, well, Ron, have a good night. Enjoy yourself.
There's silence as you walk away from the table, and you hear him after a while, not too loud, but loud enough for you to hear. He says, "Go fuck yourself."
We're back on it, guys. We're back on it.
You roll an insight check.
Insight 15.
15. Right. So you get the impression by the tone of his voice, it's not so much like actual animosity anymore, but it's like not wanting to break the tradition. Like these engagements are entertaining in the midst of a somewhat boring job, and he doesn't want to break the cycle.
Gotcha.
So, like Dean Winchester and Sam. Jerk.
So pretty much I've earned his respect, but he still wants to keep it going.
Yeah, he's just to keep the interesting exchanges every time you come into town. Just continue acting like you hate each other.
Gotcha. I could do that.
Good. Because it is entertaining.
Alright, so you guys all go to your rooms. I'm sure Malcolm and Argette enjoy each other's company. Echo tries to figure out what to do with the other 4 hours of her night. Starts wondering if she's going to be able to handle hanging out with mortal beings that have to sleep 8 hours a freaking day. Starts wandering the halls. Starts wandering the halls, doing cartwheels, just trying to keep herself occupied.
So she only has to trance 4 hours a night. Can she trance longer? Does she get any benefit from trancing longer?
Not that I know
Like
of.
if we sleep too long.
Or is it just like me? Like if I sleep 10 hours and I should only slept 8, I just feel even worse when I wake up after 10 hours of sleep.
I mean, it's literally, basically, it's just meditation. But it has to be,
To be honest, though, feel like Echo would do cartwheels in the hallway.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
I feel like she'd probably get bored enough eventually.
I
Start
let
digging through
Clambach know
drawers.
ahead of time. I'm like, Clambach, just make sure you let the guards know that Echo might be doing cartwheels around the hallways. So just don't freak out.
Just don't worry about it.
He's probably like wondering, what is my life now?
Hey, Clambach has come up in the world because of us, so...
Yep.
True.
And he reminds
Very
himself
true.
of that on a regular basis. It's all worth it. Alright, so I wanted to get through this before we get too late into the night here. The next morning, you guys are woken up fairly early. Given a quick breakfast, Clambach explains that there is an important matter that you guys need to attend to. By the way, Mira, do you fill the rest of them in about the hunt that you want to take care of the next opportunity?
Yep.
Right. So, Zuko and Malcolm, are you interested in pursuing that contract with her?
Yeah.
Sure.
Malcolm, do you still have your fire bullets?
I'm sure I do have some, yeah.
It might come in handy.
I mean, this thing was probably, like, not going to be that difficult, but now Matt's going to, like, give us, like, 8 of them to fight, or some greatly enhanced single one of them, so that I don't kill him in one round.
Well, I was going to just kind of, like, narrate the fight when it was just
Okay.
Shakira
That's
and...
fine.
But if the entire party's going after it, we can... well, I'll make something entertaining out of it.
I'm not stupid. I'd rather freaking do it as a group than fucking die.
Well, that gives me time to plan out an actual encounter, so that's actually kind of cool. Alright, so you guys are given a quick breakfast and you're ushered out the door. Did Kaylee come with you guys?
Who?
Kaylee.
I would assume she probably did, or she may have stayed on the ship, because she has her like whole thing there.
Yeah. Alright, well, Kleinbach says that her company was also specifically requested, so you go by the spire and pick her up. And when everybody is in attendance, including Dustchin, Kaylee, Tristan, and the primary group of the regulators, Kleinbach says, "All right, off to the fort. We're behind schedule already."
To the fort.
Yes, you know the fort.
I do.
So you guys proceed out the southern gates of the town, or the city, sorry. Lost my train of thought. And you proceed out towards the ocean along the narrow path, which seems to be a little bit better traveled now. And you travel through the woods until you reach the familiar place where you met Alaric and defeated the Assassin's Guild here. But the fort has changed significantly since you were last here. The footprint of the fort is significantly larger. The cliff itself seems to have been reshaped to allow for a larger footprint. The shape of the fort has gone from mostly square to a more octagonal look. Same thing with the towers. Instead of the old straight square construction, the towers, some of which are still under construction, now have an octagon shape to them. The front gate is a bit wider, and as you approach, you do see some generically dressed soldiers up on the wall. As the cart approaches the front gate, it's opened for you, and you pull into the central courtyard, which is actually smaller than you remember it being. It seems that more of that courtyard has been filled in with actual structure. You still with us, Jake? I know you tend to start getting tired. You're good?
I'm actually off. I'm off tomorrow, so it's no big deal.
All right, cool. But then we can get through this is just, it's just role play. I just wanted to. It's an awkward spot to stop right here.
We're fine.
Okay. So you pull in, and now that you're past the front gate, you see several more guards scattered around the courtyard and up on the walls. But these ones are not so generically dressed. They are wearing tunics bearing the familiar symbol of the Hellish Rittera, or as they are now known, the Holy Regulators.
Very nice.
So I scanned the crowd to see if I can see what's her name? Ethan.
Actually, as you have the sought and start looking around her, the front doors of the structure inside the courtyard open up, and flanked by two proper-looking knights in full metal armor, bearing the same symbol. Ephid comes out to greet you, but she looks a little bit confused.
But you're supposed to be dead.
No,
yeah,
not that kind of confused.
I was gonna wave and be like, no, I'm not dead. Not dead.
I'm not dead yet. It's I'm not dead yet. You know, bring out your dead.
Yet. I feel better. So she comes out and greets you. She looks happy to see you, but again, a little confused. Not the same confused that everybody else, like, I thought you were dead kind of confused.
Holy shit, she never got the news. I feel like she would punch me too.
So first, Mira, she goes straight to you and gives you a smile. Mira, Malcolm, Zuko, Dustchin, I think it was. Tristan, you're the shy one. Klambach, well, I see a few strangers here. Very happy to see you, but confused. I wasn't expecting you. Klambach looks a little bit awkward about it and starts to try to explain himself when you hear another familiar voice from behind her, and she says, they're here to see me. And walking out completely cloaked is Alexandria.
Oh. Yep, that makes sense now.
I bow my head and tilt my hat towards her.
Ethan looks slightly annoyed, but says, okay. Would have appreciated a heads up. Kind of caught off guard. And Alexandria says, of course, the meeting had to be secret, but you are invited as well. And Ethan says, "Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to a meeting in my own fort." Well, welcome to Fort Anexa. I hear you've been here before. Welcome to the secret headquarters of the Holy Regulators. The secret headquarters within the province that is secretly rebelling against the empire that is secretly run by a illegitimate emperor that made a deal with a devil. It's a mouthful, I know, but that's the way I like to think of it.
That is also currently where the secret heir to the actual throne is currently standing before me.
Ethan appreciates this addition to it and gives a chuckle. Well, Your Highness, since we're, I assume, meeting in your portion of the fort, I'll let you lead the way. She dismisses the other, the two knights that are standing with her. As you're walking into the structure itself, part of what used to be the central courtyard, you have a brief moment for conversation. Ethan asks what you think of the place now.
Bigger.
Yes, the large empty courtyard didn't really make sense for our purposes anymore. Also, there's not much of a point of a battery of cannons to defend the port, so to speak. This is primarily a place for the... primarily the purpose of this is a headquarters for the Holy Regulators, but it is disguised as a simple fort for the Cerulean Guard, at least for the time being. We needed a place to rally and recruit. We are up to 15 knights in the order now, along with about 25 general guardsmen who have agreed to keep the fort itself protected. They're not officially part of the order, so they are not privy to everything that goes on, but they are sworn loyalty to the Jarl, and they help keep the place standing while we're out doing our thing, so to speak.
Nice. And I'm sure you like bossing people around, though.
I didn't think I would, but I do quite enjoy being in charge. It's definitely a change of pace for me. But, of course, there's constant pressure from the Jarl to step up my recruiting efforts, which I'm not sure I can do any better than I've already done as far as the pace goes. But I understand he's under a lot of pressure as well.
So, about recruitment, how are you recruiting currently?
For the most part, I'm traveling around the Empire and beyond. I essentially look for places where there are problems and look for who is standing up to it, who is taking on the dangerous quests that nobody else wants to take, getting a read on their character and their values, and if I think that they'd be a good fit, I explain what we do and see if they're interested in taking the oath.
So it's safe to assume that traveling is most of your is the most time-consuming part of your recruitment right now.
I suppose, but I follow a somewhat logical path from place to place so that not too much of the time in between is wasted. If you know how to look, it is very difficult to go a long distance without running into some sort of trouble that needs dealt with.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think of some way to help with or at least assist with adding to your plan of recruitment to help you recruit more efficiently. But it seems like you are pretty set that way right now.
Like I said, I think we have a good system involved, and of course, the larger our group grows, the more hands we have out there recruiting to begin with. It's also a knightly order. They're rarely extremely large. Now, as I said, we have plenty of volunteers that are not knights, but are still loyal to the cause and willing to die for it. And I think that will be the majority of what we find in the end. And it's all useful. But I imagine within a few months we will probably be fairly close to the size that the Hellige Rittera was when they served your ancestors. In the beginning, of course, not towards the end. The order was quite large at that point and spread across 2 continents, but during the crux of their overall quest, the order was maybe 50 in total, and I think that's accomplishable.
Okay, well, just I'll leave you to it then.
All right, well, here we are. You've walked a little ways into the structure, and there is a central, almost circular wall that the hallway splits around, and wooden doors. And Alexandria opens it up. Inside, you see a sunlit interior garden with a fountain in the center. And shortly after you enter, the doors are closed behind you. They ensure that there is nobody unauthorized able to see what you are doing. Alexandria casts a spell at the statue in the center of the fountain. The water ceases to flow, and you hear the familiar sound of stone scraping stone as the spiral staircase appears at the base of the fountain, and the fountain wall descends to allow you to step into it without having to step over it.
So is the staircase like in the fountain or like right in front of it?
In the fountain.
Oh, it's in the fountain? Is there a change in the fountain?
No, there is not a wishing well. It's not in a mall, so no, there haven't been people throwing stuff in.
This is the same staircase that we had that was originally at the fort, correct?
Yes, it looks to be the exact same secret entrance that you guys used to get into the basement last time. It's just been redecorated. Instead of being a compass, it's now a fountain. And apparently it is not as easily openable as it was before. It requires...
No, it's like some kind of cantrip or spell to drain the water to activate it, I guess.
So you all make your way down the spiral staircase.
Yep. I go down very slowly in my memories, remembering that in this basement is where Alaric first touched tips.
Yep.
To the guy that was basically the treasurer for the assassins. And he was blind too.
So yes, there are some memories here.
Yeah.
Of a friend lost.
Yes, for Cece's sake, this is the second person who was in the fourth position fort is where they met. It was partially in ruin. It was overtaken by a group of assassins, and their friend Lark was here, posing as one of the assassins, but he was guided here by a strange voice. He was seeking revenge for the death of his wife, and was told that the person who did it would be here, but that he shouldn't make any moves until he is found by this group of 3 travelers who are going to come and attack the fort. And this is where they first faced Lilith, who is the assassin who killed Alark's wife. She was a rogue and a warlock, loyal to Orcus. But yeah, that's what they're talking about. This is where they first met him, and he helped them get rid of most of the assassins here, but Lilith escaped. And the rest is history.
And there was a blind treasurer out of the basement that Lark snuck up on and knew he was blind, but still killed him by shoving daggers in both of his ears and touching the tips in his brain matter.
Anyway, the staircase is familiar to you, but as you descend into the basement, you can see it has also been completely restructured. It is much more open. The octagonal base of each tower is visible, and there seem to be smaller rooms that are in between the towers, but the central area is mostly open.
So testing my memory, do I see like any walls that were there before that aren't there anymore, or?
Like I said, a great deal of the central walls that created the hallways, a lot of that's gone. It seems like new walls have been put up, so most of the rooms in the basement are on the outer edge rather than spread throughout the entire substructure.
I'm gonna look over and be like, "Oh, I thought that was a load-bearing wall." as
Alexandria points out that the original construction of the fort was traditional, that a great deal of magic went into the remodel. So a lot of the typical rules of construction were not followed. But you are brought kind of towards the back wall, a large set of double doors that are engraved with the symbol that is tattooed, you assume, on Alexandria's forehead. Didn't mean to do that. But this one is open, an open eye with wings on it, and she pushes the doors open, and you enter a room with a long table. And in the torchlight at the far end of the table, you see the back of a familiar figure, a large lion-like humanoid, and he turns to you, his mane swinging around as he looks to see who's entering the room. It is Jarl Rupert Vosser. Aoife gives a look of realization when she sees him and understands why she was not told in advance that this was happening. She gives a slight bow. Jarl, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were coming. Of course. I tried to keep my plans, my travel plans, discreet when I'm planning a rebellion. Welcome, Regulators. I'm glad to see all of you alive and well. As soon as I heard, I immediately headed this direction. Sorry for getting you up so early, but we have important matters to discuss. Out of the shadows on the side of the room, another figure steps towards the light that surrounds the central table, and you recognize yet another familiar face as Sebastian brings down his hood. Malcolm, Zuko, Mira, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Is Night Shifter's code just like a cipher, or is there like an actual speech to it as well?
Yeah, there's a coded speech. It takes about twice as long to communicate an idea. It's basically thieves' cant with a special dialect.
Well, I'm going to say, it's good to see you, my friend, to him in Night Shifter's code.
Which takes twice as long as he would have said to just say it straight out, but he appreciates the gesture. Come to burn down my new bar, I suppose.
Yeah. Unless there's been more news about it.
No, sorry, that was my attempt at a joke. God, man,
I'd rather drink there, my friend, but if you want.
Well, it's God, I haven't done a German accent in so long. I can't lock onto it. Next
Come
time.
on, you can do it. You can do it.
I need to practice some. I didn't even think about the fact I was going to need to do it tonight. But anyway,
It's okay.
isn't quite rebuilt yet. But whenever it is, you are more than welcome to stop by for a drink. So, shall we get to it, y'all? Before we begin, y'all looks at Echo. A new face has been added to your ranks, I see.
Yeah.
Is Cece still with us?
Yes,
Yeah,
sorry.
okay.
I spaced out for a second.
No worries.
With how tired I'm getting, I completely understand.
I'm not tired. No, I just do that thing where you space out sometimes. No, I was listening. Yes, I tell him, yes, I'm Echo. It's nice to meet you.
Welcome, Echo.
Probably way too enthusiastically.
Oh, I just realized who she reminds me of then. Alice.
What's that?
She reminds me of Alice.
Ah, okay.
If she is really enthusiastic, I mean, like, sorry, she meditated for 4 hours and 5 minutes, so she has that little extra to burn off.
Well, from my experience, the Regulators are filled with eccentric characters. You will fit right in. Well, first of all, I would like to apologize to you all, of course, for not allowing Klembach to warn you of my arrival. As I said, as we get closer to open rebellion, the need for secrecy and caution increases. And Echo, I don't know how long you've been with the Regulators, so some of this information may be new to you, but if you are part of the Regulators, I assume you to be trustworthy. And we will... Well, I'll allow them to fill you in on any details you don't understand as we progress forward. But thank you all for meeting me here. We have all had time to take care of various things that needed to be dealt with to lead up to this point, and it is time to start making serious moves. So, Sebastian, if you could please start. Sebastian gets a little more serious, clears his throat. Well, most regiments of the Vanguard are now within the borders of Valmeno province, with the exception of the regiments in Earrenia, which of course had been drawn closer to the capital city. Most of the regiments in Frilos and Palhas, which only recently continued moving after bringing the deserters to the prison in Kisham. The 12th Regiment of Valmeno advanced on Haim several days ago. They destroyed nearly 2,000 of the undead army in the end, but lost 1,000, and at this point he's actually reading from his own notes, 1,970 of their own, most of which had been added to the enemy's number before the 12th went into retreat. Even outside of that fact, as a portion of their original forces, the vanguard lost significantly more. A few hundred more in the vanguard were lost later, succumbing to their seemingly untreatable wounds. The Jarl looks somber but not overly surprised, and stays collected. What do you know of the undead army? Vel, a portion of the army that met the 12th appeared to be former citizens and guards from the city of Haim itself. But given the population still remaining, it is unlikely they make up most of it. Many seem to be undead humanoids at greater stages of decay, perhaps raised from the graveyards of Haim, or part of Orcus's original forces, or pulled from the realm of the dead itself. It's hard to know. These things are a bit beyond me, or most of my men, for that matter. A significant contingent was clearly undead or demonic in nature, but not originally of our world, or at least not in their current form. Jarl thinks about this for a minute. Right, so a bit of everything. So it sounds like a good portion of what they lost doesn't even dent the surface compared to what's within the city itself. And you said that members of the Vanguard turned to Orcus's side after being killed? Yes, I saw a bit of it myself. It happened very rapidly, which is part of why the Vanguard was overwhelmed so quickly. As their men fell and they continued to advance, they were suddenly facing their own fallen comrades from behind. The retreat itself, there were at least 200 men killed. What about these untreatable wounds? As far as I understand it, some of the creatures or the beings within Orcus's army, the wounds that they create are cursed, which gradually continues to injure even the survivors of battle and cannot be healed by traditional means. I can't say I've seen anything like it before. And he kind of looks over you guys to see if there's any response to this information.
I want to say, well, out of character, it sounds like necrotic damage. Is that right?
Well, necrotic damage and specifically a cursed wound, you would specifically recognize it because it is what...
Somebody was hit with this in our party, I feel like.
Not in your party, but a friend of yours in the end. And I forgot his name. Let's see...
Oh, it was Ardoon, right?
Yes, Ardoon. remember that better than I did. Yeah, Ardoon had was suffering from the same thing. He had a special potion that was slowing the effect down, but he said in the end eventually he would succumb to his wounds, and he was fighting that.
So I bring that up and say, this damage sounds familiar to one of our traveling companions at a point in the past, and they had a potion that at least slowed the effects. I don't know what was in the potion, though. Is there any way for us to contact the archive at all?
Not
the vault, whatever the heck they call themselves, I can't remember.
Crap, hold on, I'm gonna have to pull this up again. They call themselves the archivists now. They used to be known as the Serapis. And the only way you know of how to get a hold of them is through Lorimer.
Okay. So I bring up the fact that I could reach out to Lorimer and see if we can get some kind of help or recipe for at least this potion to help in our efforts.
A fantastic idea. Whenever we will, of course, have to deal with the Haim situation ourselves, most likely at some point, and I would like to have that option. Speaking of Lorimer, where is he? And at this point, the doors kind of burst open as Lorimer stumbles in. Sorry, I'm late. Oh, good to see you all. I heard that you had died. I had a feeling that you had something up your sleeve, though. Glad to see you in person. The Emperor is running me ragged, but I am here. I am ready. I heard a lot of the conversation as I'm coming down the hallway. I will, yes, as much as I hate this, Malcolm. I hate dealing with them. But
I'm sure they will have a price, and I hope it's not too steep.
Well, I've already given up my soul some time ago, I'm sure, so what more could they possibly take from me?
I mean, we only saved the world, so,
They kind of was.
That is a very good point, Mira. I would say they do. But I will contact them and see if I can get a hold of that recipe. Possibly improve on it. I assume we are still dealing with the army, and we haven't moved on from that topic yet, Jarl. That is correct. Thank you for the report, Sebastian. Alexandria has foreseen as much. It sounds like the encounter between the Vanguard and the undead army went just as well as expected. She predicts the Imperial Vanguard left on their own will eventually be defeated in its entirety. Alexandria kind of nods at this information. But she has also foreseen a future where some of them fight by my side. We form a great army and fight our way to the city walls in one great push, making way for the Regulators, and he kind of gestures at you guys, to reach and defeat Orcus. I don't know who that army is made of. Some are clearly from the Vanguard, but it is more than them for sure, and certainly more than a new Palhas army could become in such a short time. So it is time to start considering who our allies will be when we stand as our own kingdom, and how to build an army large enough and well equipped enough to defeat an army of this nature. Lorimer chimes in. I will begin having conversations with some of the arcanists within our provinces to see who would be loyal to the kingdom. We'll need war mages for this fight. Kaylee, who's been kind of awkwardly staying off in the shadows, chimes in. We'll also need skilled healers. Not just alchemists, but veteran clerics. We'll need to find a way to counter the cursed wounds left by these creatures. Potion makers may be...
Go ahead, Kelly. I'm sorry.
Oh. Potion makers may be tricky at this stage, but I can contact members of my temple without worrying about secrecy.
Also, as well, clerics will be invaluable with their ability to create pockets along the battlefield where the undead will not dare cross the border of.
Yes, clerics would be very helpful in this fight. The nature...
I know for the most part clerics do not thirst for battle, but they will be needed.
Kaylee takes a moment and then says, well, you're correct. Depending on which god we follow, clerics do not tend to crave a fight, but when it comes to the undead, we don't see it as combat, we see it as putting the dead to rest. And I imagine a great many would be interested in helping in this fight. They wouldn't want to see the world overrun with creatures like this. The Jarl is starting to look a little bit more confident and seems to like the way this is going. To start, Regulators, I'm sure you've made some powerful friends along the way. If there are any you think would join us in this fight, be ready to begin recruiting when the time is right.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this are these the same type of creatures that attacked the Fey realm?
This all sounds very familiar to you, yes. What they're describing sounds very much like that. Alexandria had this vision of the army, and Alexandria, I'll let you explain it. Alexandria steps forward and she says, there are parts of this force that will fight against Orcus that I am not able to see clearly. What that means is they are a potentiality, an unfixed aspect of the future. I will not be able to see them clearly until whatever has to happen to make them be there in that time and place occurs. I was able to tell that there are a great many different types of people there. So I know this is many different groups working together, but I am unable to see who exactly they are. What I find strangest, the largest part of this fighting force that I saw rose from the ground, seemingly at the Jarl's command. Though they were mostly shapeless and blurry, I was able to tell that much, and I'm not sure what this means, but it seems to be the difference between success and failure in this fight. So hopefully we are able to figure out what this strange army under his command is made up of. If anybody knows, I am more than willing to listen. Yeah, you're muted.
So how familiar would our characters be of like elemental magic? I mean, it's pretty standard. Like conjuring elemental is pretty standard, correct?
Fairly standard for certain types of people. Mira would be the one that knows the most about elemental magic.
Because I'm just wondering if like what she's describing sounds like an earth elemental or something.
Do you bring this up out loud, or?
Yeah.
That was my first thought, but they seemed humanoid in form. Once they ascended from the ground, it seemed like any other human army, although there was one other thing that was different about them. They seemed unaffected by the cursed nature of the undead army's attacks. In fact, almost unaffected by any attacks made on them at all. I mean, some of them fell, but they seemed to have no pain, no fear.
I look at Malcolm, and I already have like this uncomfortable feeling.
But as I said, the Jarl seemed to gesture, and this army appeared in formation in front of him as if they just sprouted out of the ground. Well, I suppose we don't have to figure out right away, but if at any point in your travels you hear of any sort of force like this, be sure to let us know.
Yeah, I will keep. I'll keep my eyes open and see if maybe there's even books or something in our travels we might find that might have some information to help us.
All right. The Jarl seems a little disappointed that nobody's been able to figure out this key element. Well, very well. Before we get to any of this, Alexandria's visions have me convinced we must first separate from the Empire. Before this fight, not after. And before we can do that, we must have an army to defend our new borders. The deserters are now all gathered in the new prison in Kasham. And I know we've discussed before that we need to find some way of getting these prisoners out and back to what they clearly wanted to do in the first place, which is defend Palhas and Frilos from outside threats. Now that they are all gathered in the prison and the vanguard is sufficiently far away, it is our best opportunity to start such an operation. I believe that the best option, Regulators, would be to have you put into the prison as prisoners, work to gain the trust and loyalty of the prisoners inside, encourage them, with your help, of course, to break out. How things go inside the prison would determine if they can be trusted to be part of this new army that we're forming. Lorimer, I believe, has some information on it. Yes. As I said, the Emperor has been demanding my help quite a bit lately, some of which has been involved in securing this prison. I suppose you can ask your questions and I'll answer them to the best of my abilities.
So we would need to go into this prison and try to see if the prisoners are trustworthy. Is what we're getting to?
The Earl tries to clarify. We could easily destroy the gatehouse and let the prisoners out as easy as that, but I feel, as you pointed out the last time we discussed this, it is tempting to think a deserter is a deserter, and that may be true for some of them. It is possible that some of them simply deserted because it was the first time in their lives that the Vanguard had been on their way to do anything significantly dangerous. But some of them, I know, a great number of them, deserted because they did not want to abandon Palhas and Frilos provinces to defend themselves with no army. So, I believe that it would be best to get inside, determine what the new power hierarchy is there, determine who is there for the right reasons, and who would be interested after breaking out in coming back and forming this new army.
So you want me to go in and find the biggest motherfucker there is? And
well, biggest in some senses, I suppose, but it's likely as they entered the prison, the old rank system broke down. There is a new leader among the prisoners, someone who's holding them together, keeping the peace, so to speak.
yeah, so yes, I feel like this is something that can be done. I'm assuming because we're going to be going undercover, I would not have any of the normal weaponry and other things at my disposal. I'd have to go in unarmed.
Lorimer chimes in here. Yes, of course you would have to do without your armor and your conventional weapons. There is a magical field within inside the prison that will detect the presence of any weapon that does not belong to the guards of the prison. Any weapon you are able to magically summon may be able to remain hidden.
So that would be like their goddess weapons would be?
That would be one thing that would not be able to be taken away, yes.
Okay.
The prisoners are allowed some personal effects. Certain more mundane magical items may be able to pass inspection when we get you in without setting off any alarms. But you'll have to show me what you have and what you want to try to sneak in, and we can determine what will be able to be snuck in without causing a problem.
With the magic detection field that would detect whether a object belongs to a guard or not, would I be able to? Is it like a glyph or something that could be able to attach to one of my weapons to sneak it in still?
Lorimer tries to explain. Is more an enchantment that was created when the field was put in place. There is a surplus of weapons specifically belonging to the guards, and they don't set off the alert when they are brought into the center of the prison grounds. But anything new introduced to the environment would set off an alarm. I do believe, though, the way I designed the spell, it is possible also to create weapons inside the prison without setting it off. As long as it is made entirely of materials found naturally within the prison.
So if I wanted to make a gun, I'd have to figure out how to make it like MacGyver the shit inside the prison.
Correct. However, there may be certain materials I might be able to help smuggle in without causing a problem. But essentially the functioning parts of any weapon would have to be constructed from materials inside. Sebastian decides to chime in while you're thinking about this. Alright, so here's the tactical situation. There are roughly 8,800 deserters being held in the prison. The ratio of guards is about 1 to 4. As Lorimer said, a shipment of weaponry was brought in ahead of time. We estimate they have at least twice as much as they need for the guards, maybe 3. This is mostly to replace broken weapons, things like that, so they don't have to worry about the alarm that Lorimer set up for them being set off by replacement weapons being brought in. The mix of deserters has broken the original chains of command as predicted, but I'm receiving reports that the majority of prisoners are remaining military discipline, and a new hierarchy is beginning to form. Possibly several distinct factions. A small portion have gone completely AWOL and formed a few small gangs. That may be some trouble for you when you get in there. They may have to be dealt with before or used as part of the escape, but they won't be anything but trouble for the new Palhas army. Lorimer then adds, the prison mostly relies on the natural features of the rock formation to keep prisoners in. As I said, I was required to create several magical defenses, but I left gaps in security where I could. For example, already covered that, sorry. Active magic items, especially anything that can cause significant damage, is liable to be detected as well. But magic items that can be turned off can be smuggled in, and some constantly active items that don't cause significant damage should also be able to be smuggled in. The Earl adds, first priority will be establishing a rapport with someone in the prison who will be able to rally the rest of the prisoners together. It is up to you if you bring up the rebellion in advance, but I would advise against it. I would like my chance to plead my case with them once they have escaped. But it is important to establish they are willing to help you break out, and that there is some loyalty to their homeland over themselves and over the Empire. Given why most of them refuse their marching orders, I hope that will be an easy task.
So, I mean, it makes sense to me. So, magical items, like, would the Mask of Many Faces pass this test?
Yes, because it's not always on.
Okay.
The earrings as well. The earrings of Whisper. Basically, actually, between now and next session, you guys should take an inventory of any magical items you have that you might want to use, and we'll determine what can and can't be brought in. And I think we'll have one more session involving planning.
Yeah, because I would also like to kind of have all this information you've given us, like, you know, if you could send it to me or something, or send it to us in a group message so we can kind of read over it too, because sometimes just talking it over is a lot.
Yeah. That essentially that ends our session this week. Thank you, everyone who watched tonight. It was surprisingly smooth for as long as it's been since we played, and a lot of fun. Nice casual way to get back into the game. We expect to be back hopefully on the 28th for the next session. Like I said, I would like to get back to the every other week, but like I said, part of that depends on what they do with my schedule at work. So make sure you're following Winds of Earrenia on Facebook. or the Bold Wolf Gaming social media pages to stay up to date. So hopefully we will see everybody in 2 weeks. Until next time, you have a good night.